Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another episode of Comic Book Origins, where we take a look at the very first appearance of any comic book superhero, villain, or team. In this case, we are looking at Peggy Carter from the pages of Captain America. And you know what, just for good measure and kicks and giggles and all sorts of stuff like that, we're going to take a look at Sharon Carter's first appearance as well. Created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in the year of 1966. We first saw Sharon Carter in a brief glimpse of Peggy, and then we got a Peggy origin for herself. This was quite strange because I was told, hey, it's a one-panel thing in issue number 75 of Tales of Suspense, and then she makes her first appearance in 77, and I still haven't found that one panel. So we'll see if we can pick that up as we talk about it here today. And this was commissioned from Ko-Fi by CHRISTIE. I certainly appreciate that. If you want, you go on over and just pick out whatever topic, subject, and commission a video. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. With that aside, let's jump into the very first appearance of Sharon and Peggy Carter, Tales of Suspense, number 75. Usually we talk about the cover first, but this particular issue has an Iron Man cover. This is a Captain America story, so we'll just move on and get to the splash page. And coincidentally, as the splash page tells us here, introducing Lee and Kirby's newest bombastic baddie, the blockbusting Batroc. I was going to say Batroc the Leaper, but that's not what it says. Anyway, yeah, this is Batroc's first appearance as well, so let's continue. The book starts off with a group of shady men talking about their shady deals. In fact, what they're really talking about is Inferno 42, the most destructive element of all time that was gathered off of an alien meteor. Unfortunately, though, their master cylinder of 42 was stolen by a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and when they say, who can get the better of S.H.I.E.L.D., they reply, only Batroc is powerful enough to get the better of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we cut back to Captain America, who finishes his plummet towards the ocean, falling unconscious from the shock when he hits the water. Thankfully, a group of sailors pull him in, wondering if he is, in fact, the real deal, but they do believe so, and they tell tales of how he was their idol back when they were kids. And we cut to Steve Rogers. He's in an apartment complaining. Well, he's not really complaining. Back then, everybody had to have big problems and everything, and sometimes Stan Lee could get a bit dramatic, so he's like, the room I live in belongs to Tony Stark, and the time I live in belongs to others who were born 20 years after me. The only thing that's rightfully mine is my past, all the memories I could ever escape. But memory is such an elusive thing. So many images have been blurred by the passage of time, the 2 decades I spent in suspended animation. Yet some memories can never die. They will live forever in my brain, no matter how many years pass by. They'll remain to haunt me. And he remembers Bucky Barnes. He remembers Sergeant Duffy. And then, ha-ha, we found the panel. But there was one other. Our lives touched for only a short time, but I've never forgotten her. I could still remember our final date when she whispered to me through trembling lips, I'll wait till you return, Steve. No matter how long, no matter what happens, I'll wait for you, my darling. But that was an eternity ago, and the dead past, the forgotten past, the past which will live with me forever. Today, it's all behind me. This is a new world, a new age, and an age of atomic power, space exploration, social upheaval, yet an age over which the threat of war hangs heavy once again. And so long as danger beckons, there is still a need for an old relic like Captain America, a need that must be met. Say what you will, but Stan Lee could write the overdramatic. He was really good at that. Also, now I could be wrong, but my first read through this, I never saw a mention of the word Peggy or Sharon at all. It was always her and she and pronouns, like he didn't have an idea of what to name the character just yet. So Steve Rogers goes through the existential crisis of who's the real person, Captain America or Steve Rogers, as he gets dressed in what I can only assume is the least comfortable thing ever. That's chainmail, dude, with a shield on his back, and he puts on a suit. I guess he always walks around in a blue suit and bright red boots. You kind of figure. Anyway, he goes through the city streets when all of a sudden he sees a young lady, that girl. When she walked by, I thought I was in the past again, looking at her. How weary she looks clutching that cylinder as though her life depends upon it. A cylinder, you say? Bum, bum, bum. Steve creepily follows the young lady and notices she bumps into a man carrying a similar cylinder package. When they drop, the man gives the girl the wrong package and starts yelling, "Hold on there, bring that package back." They really say package more times than a frickin' porn star. "Stop, please, don't cause a scene. But he switched parcels with you." "Look, I appreciate your concern," she says. "You're mistaken, this is my package." Now that causes questions right there. "Now, why don't you just forget the whole thing?" "There's more to this than I guess. She's in league with that joker, but what's it all about? What was in that package?" "Her face, her eyes, it can't be. She would be much older now, and yet the resemblance is uncanny." Meanwhile, other eyes are watching the man who effected the package switch scant seconds ago, and we see a shadowy figure watching him. It's him, and he's carrying it. I'm in luck. So Batroc clobbers the man and says, "Sacre bleu, no wonder he was..." I can't do French accents either. "So no wonder he was so easy for me to apprehend. He was but a decoy. The packages have been switched. Some other agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. now possesses it." I can't do anything here. "I remember he collided with Mademoiselle, a charming young thing. She too carried a package. That is all Batroc needs to know. She could not have gone very far. The Inferno 42 is as good as mine." And just a few short blocks away, Steve is still creeping on her and saying, "Before you leave, would you tell me, have we ever met before?" "No, I don't believe we have. Although when I first saw you, I too felt as though we've known each other." She senses it too, but why? How? It just isn't possible. I've got to stop thinking this way, clutching at straws whenever I see a girl who looks like her. And we see the young lady walking away thinking to herself, "I almost made a fool of myself. Sis told me so often of the boy she knew in World War II, but he'd be much older. It couldn't have been him. What would he have thought if I had asked him, 'Is your name Steve Rogers?'" But no sooner has the mysterious girl turned the corner when, crack, a shot. I knew it was fuck. But no sooner has the mysterious girl turned the corner when, crack, a shot. I knew it. She was in trouble. Then in less time than it takes you to read these lines, Steve Rogers darts into a shadowy alley. Whatever must be done can best be done by Captain America. And from those shadows emerges the most famous costume Avenger of all time. And Captain America leaps towards Batroc. "Look alive, big man. You've got a real fight on your hands now." "Captain America, I'm just going to stop trying. Captain America, I'm honored. Long has Batroc admired your skill, your daring, but never did I believe that I would personally have the distinction of being the first one to defeat you in man-to-man combat." Batroc knocks him out with his back, or are we supposed to think it's his feet kicking him? Because the impact really looks like it's happening on his shins. That is a weird panel right here. What a memorable triumph for Batroc the Leaper. Batroc the Leaper, a master of la savate, the French art of boxing with the feet. I salute you, mon capitaine. Your knowledge is almost the equal of your fame. As Batroc and Captain America explain pleasantries, her grabs for a gun, but Batroc's foot comes down on it, crushing it, and then Captain America and Batroc continue to trade blows. Captain America wrestles Batroc to the ground. "I said talk. Why did you want that package? Is this girl in danger?" "But of course, we are all in danger. The cylinder contains enough Inferno 42 to blow up this entire city. Release me and I'll help you." "Why would you want to help me?" "Because all of our lives are at stake. Mine as well. I remember the cylinder was dropped during the fight. If the outer casing is cracked, it'll soon begin to glow. And then what? And then, mon capitaine, nothing on earth can stop it from destroying this entire city within 30 minutes. It will mean the end for us all." But still not suspecting the imminent danger which she and the entire city face, the fleeing girl is determined not to be stopped. "There are too many S.H.I.E.L.D. hiding places I could take refuge in until they're gone." This was only the beginning. The suspense mounts, the menace grows, the fantasy amazes, the surprises multiply in the next incredible issue of Suspense. If you miss it, Batroc will never forgive you. So we got the cameo appearance and the first full appearance of Sharon Carter. Now we're going to go on over to see the first full appearance of Peggy Carter, because, yeah, they didn't even... She's like a shadow in the first, in 75. Yeah, I know I'm skipping over 76. You're going to have to read it yourself to find out what happens with Batrox. Instead, we're going to... switch over to Tales of Suspense number 77 and the story of If a Hostage Should Die. Dun dun dun. At last, Mighty Marvel reveals for the first time the never-told-before saga of The Girl from Cap's Past. As we see on the TV, apparently somebody was recording Captain America beating up Nazis. I've waited all day for this documentary program to be presented, and now I almost wish I hadn't. It brings back too many memories better left in the dim, dead past. And we do see that it is, in fact, Steve Rogers watching the documentary as he's pontificating and remembering the past. And my goodness gracious, this has some of, I don't know, Stan Lee's most overly dramatic dialogue. I never told them that it was because of you I was so desperate on that fatal day. I wanted to find you, to tear all of Paris apart until we were together again. But it was too late, my darling. I had lost you forever. That lightning and thunder, it's like the angry roar of the past trying to capture me again. If only I could return to that day. If only I could go back and have a second chance. George Lucas is saying, see, I'm not that bad at writing dialogue. Look at this. And so we see Steve Rogers staring out at the thunder and lightning, and it reminds him of cannons. And now let us join the silent brooding man. Let us share his tortured memories as we journey back to the day when a defeated German army tried desperately to fight its way out of the Falaise Gap. I don't know if I said that right. Partisans, only a handful of them. We must wipe them out, and so the final futile charge begins. But suddenly, at the crest of the hill, the thin line of partisans divide, and a mighty red, white, and blue garbed figure hurtles towards the startled Nazis with the impact of a human thunderbolt. So we see Captain America basically do what Captain Americas do and kick the crap out of all the Nazis, and then when he's done... As the prisoners are rounded up, one of the partisans detaches herself from her group, and she rushes to Captain America, her adoring blue eyes shining with undisguised pride, and something more than pride. You were wonderful. I'll never forget these weeks with Captain America fighting at our side. I won't forget them either, but you've got to leave the partisans. This isn't woman's work. I can't leave. This war is everybody's war. I was needed, and I answered the call just as you did in your own way. I know, and I know I haven't the right to speak to you this way. It's just that you've come to mean so much to me. I hate sand. It's so coarse, and it gets everywhere. So she declares her undying love for Captain America, and he for her. Right at that moment, orders comes in for Captain America that he has to go. He's got a mission somewhere else, but the underground is going to still fight in Paris. Captain America's like, no, it's got Nazis in it. You'll get hurt. And she's like, don't worry, we'll find each other again. And Captain America says, I'll find you. There should really be some big, swelling, sad music going on right here. I think that's what's happening. I think Stan Lee in his head is already writing war movies. Yeah, because he really wanted to get out of the comic biz and go to the movie biz instead. So we cut to a couple of German officers basically standing watching an execution of hostages. And one says, I don't want to watch this anymore. I'm just tired of watching these kind of things. So they decide, yeah, they got to shoot all the hostages, but they need to keep Sharon Carter around because she has information they need. Of course, she says, there's no way you're going to get me to talk. They say, well, we'll cut you off from food and water. We'll do whatever we have to. And she says, at least I'll die for freedom. And all you guys are going to die for is an insane Fuhrer. And they say, all righty, shoot her. So she is being led to the gallows, or whatever you want to call it, where they get shot. And she's saying her only regret is that she never got to see Captain America again when suddenly there's an attack. Everybody's running. She's shouting, no, you murderous scum, there's been enough blood shed. And that's when a shell blasts near her and the person she was fighting. Moments later, the remaining Nazi army has been given the order to evacuate Paris. Death to the Boche! The killers must not escape! And suddenly we see Captain America burst through. Hold your fire! It's the American adventurer! Quick, which one of you is Francois? I am Francois. The girl told me you will come sooner or later. But alas, mon ami, you are too late. Too late? What do you mean? Out with it, man. She's been taken by the accursed Gestapo. We tried to rescue her time and again, but each time failed. But Captain America won't fail. Where's their headquarters? Hurry! Tell me, man. So, Captain America commandeers a vehicle by knocking the Nazis out of it with a shield, takes it over to their headquarters, grabs onto another Nazi yelling, "Where is she?" Thus, the scene you are now beholding was recorded for posterity. Where is she? What did you do with her? Tell me, or... It was a shell. It hit the courtyard when the smoke cleared. She was gone. They were all gone. It's Captain America. Brother, these films will make me famous, G.I. says as he's filming Captain America beat the teetotal hell out of a Nazi. So Captain America tries to get past the crowd as they're cheering and just happy that the Nazis are taken care of. Unfortunately, he can't do it, so he gives in and they lift him to their shoulders. I can't refuse them. It's their moment of victory. I mustn't spoil it. And we see a young lady, the young lady, watching alongside a wall. All that noise, the excitement, if only I could remember what it's all about. All I could remember is an explosion, a terrible, earth-shattering explosion. I must have had some sort of shock. I've got to be patient. My memory will return. It has to return. It has to. But softly the light drone of raindrops begins to beat down upon the streets of New York in the year 1966 as the sound and fury of the sudden storm begins to fade away to wispy nothingness. After all these years, I still don't know if she's alive or dead. I still don't know what became of her. Then gently a memory-haunted man closes his window. The past has vanished once more, and he knows it can never return. So there you go, guys. The first appearances of both Sharon and Peggy Carter, and also Batroc. But I think if I ever actually do a Batroc the Leaper first appearance or comic book origins, we're going to be looking at the full story. That way to give something extra. Anyway, I liked it. I thought it was fine. It was way overly dramatic. I think the writing is a bit bombastic, but that's Stan Lee for you. What are you going to do, right? Art was fine. It looked great. I like these older books. What can I say? In this one, like I said, the writing was a bit off, but it's still a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. Although I love the bit, it's woman's work, you know, that kind of thing. It's that Stan Lee was all over that, by the way. If you read the earlier Marvel, holy Toledo. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, not just of the comic book, but the video itself. Anyway, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. You know the deal. And you know what? I've got a whole playlist of these comic book origins. Should be popping up somewhere around here soon at the credits. So by all means, check more of these out if you like it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing these, and there's a heck of a lot more coming up. So please do. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. Ring that notification, making sure your notifications are on for Google and YouTube. And don't forget to go on over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till, or even commission a video yourself. Just understand I'm a little bit behind right now. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.